coming here. Jerry Sanchez, Carolina Multifamily Connection. Actually, this is year 3. Started in December of 2020. So I'm pretty excited to be celebrating. This is also an anniversary special event too. I'll start off, this is an episode just to talk about the year in what you've done, recap, and some goals for the next year. And I'll go first. Again, myself, New Jersey-based investor. I now have about 5 or 6 LP investments. I kind of bucket myself now into 3 buckets. One side being those investments that I do as a limited partner, and working with operators who I know, like, and trust. I've had the opportunity to bring others into those deals. I do, whether it's a raising capital or just letting others know about those opportunities. And then that's done well this year. I did do one new deal. Arn's obviously very aware of it, with Spark and Progressive in Greenville. That is the 20 units, 10 duplexes in Greenville. And earlier in the year, another event was my very first deal that I had done back in 2020 or 2021, actually. We had a return of capital, which was then invested into another deal, and that deal actually closed out. So it's kind of nice to watch the incremental, it gets compounding effect of this as well, to see my initial investment, return that back, put into another, and then that exited out. That was with Red Knight Properties. And then next year, kind of the focus, we talked to this a little bit earlier, is focusing a little bit on that middle bucket, which is going after a JV or joint venture. I have now probably, made really good relationships with a lot of people, 3-4 years, and team up 3 or 4, go after something that we can go after that's a little bit on the smaller side. So that's the goal on that end. And with that is making a concerted effort to network with other investors who it's less about just bringing them to multifamily, but these are people who already invested, whether they invest in equities or private equity or other type, and just show them the opportunities that are here in multifamily and real estate. And then the third bucket is a longer term goal, which is really building up towards, kind of the private equity model, eventually going towards a fund. And I think that one also takes time because you're building both track record and relationships. But that's, a longer term goal that I continue to keep. So that's, a little bit of the 2023 and my 2024 goals. So I guess before I jump on to anybody else, if anybody has any questions about that, let me know. And then, we can use this also as an opportunity to help each other out for if anyone has any wants or needs in this meeting. But that's my goal. So, one other thing I'll say, the year quieting, I guess, slowing down some of the activity also gave an opportunity to step back and really have a little bit more of a clearer look of what I want to target, rather than just the craziness of chasing deals. And, so many of us are chasing after a lot of times the same deals, and the slower volume gave an opportunity to realize, like, there's a certain lane that I should be in. You can't be the guy that's going after trying to talk to brokers, trying to underwrite, trying to do this, and team up with people that can, best utilize their skills and, go from there. So whoever wants to go next, just jump on, or I can pick in the screen. I'll go in clockwise this time. How about William? You go.
Yeah, so for me, this past year, one of my goals was to do a better job of getting closer to brokers and having a closer relationship, so that I'm more top of mind when they see an opportunity that fits what I'm purchasing and what I'm looking for. I've done a better job of that, not the best, and there's still room for improvement. And other than that, I guess as a work in progress, working on health and fitness and getting that under control is something I'm going to be working on next year.
Good. And your focus is always down in your Charlotte base, so your focus is kind of in your immediate area.
Yeah, primarily North Carolina and South Carolina. So I've got currently an 84 in Charlotte, a 72 in North Augusta, and a 32 in Greenwood. And I'm working on a deal in the Fayetteville market right now, and I've previously owned in that market as well. I had a 37 unit in Fayetteville for a while, but just because it's a familiarity, that's kind of what I know, and that's my backyard, and that's kind of where I run.
Well, so I may have a deal in Cornelius.
Okay, that's close by.
So I'll reach out to you. Smaller, newer. So I'll send it to Jerry, and Jerry can send it on to you. I'm investing in a passive investing deal up Braxton at Lake Norman, which I think is in Mooresville.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cornelius is just south of Mooresville. So I like the area. It's like a 2016 build. So it might be that kind of core stuff that you like.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll send it to Jerry, and Jerry can share it. So I'm working on that. So glad to know you're in Charlotte.
Yeah, very good.
We're also looking at a deal in Newton, North Carolina. So part of they're telling us as part of the Charlotte MSA. So
Yeah.
not as new as what Arn's talking about, but we're also looking at something over there, which is a little bit out of our comfort zone because we're mostly on more of the eastern part of North Carolina. All our assets are in Greenville, North Carolina, and we have a couple assets in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So this is stretching us a little because we don't have that many. We're kind of like looking at a couple different property managers and possibly some asset managers on that side of the state, or in the Charlotte area, since it's kind of newer for us in our core group. So,
all right, let me know, man.
I
know I can help.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I guess, yeah, John, since you're got it, why don't you talk a little bit about your year? I know you just closed, and then what you're looking forward to.
Yeah. So I'll start actually in 22 because we it was kind of like gangbusters. Technically at the end of 21, when we closed on on the last day of 2021, we closed on a 16 unit that we kind of already went full cycle on, and pulled out all our money and everything. We did pretty good. We did a 1.9 return on that, but it was a JV between two of us. In Greenville, North Carolina. But it was kind of cool because our next in 2022, we're able to pick up 3 more properties in that area. And it was like 224 more doors right around that. And we ended up closing the 48 unit pretty much on the last day of 2022. So we picked up 3 properties in 2022. Felt like we were going crazy like the entire year. It actually took us like 6 months to get to that first deal. We closed in July to get to that first deal in 22. Then we closed right in September on the next deal, and then bang right in December. Sort of slowed down in. I say we slowed down, but we picked up another 224 units in 2023 in Jacksonville, North Carolina, about an hour and 20 minutes south of Greenville, North Carolina. And we kind of took our time because the lending environment was a little bit different. Kind of made sure that the deal was right. It fit our buy box perfectly. Kind of like C kind of assets that we could bring up into a B market. Someone was kind of said it perfectly, where we knew in Jacksonville, North Carolina, that any kind of newer asset that was going to be built there. It was something like crazy. It was something like 124,000 per door is what they were predicting, and we were going to come in to upgrade our units was going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than that. Something like ours, we could have built ours up to like 94,000 per door, and then we ended up buying them for like something like 72,000 per door. So it was really some great ROI in all of our numbers when we did a lot of the underwriting. and we kind of built out in 2023 was the build out of this new team that we put together, because there's really like kind of four of us that went kind of gangbusters in kind of 2020 through 22. We kind of brought in some people to help us capital raise for the last couple deals that we did there in 22. So we knew we were kind of stretching the limits of our own kind of network. So we knew we kind of, as we asked for help, even through our mastermind, we kind of thought, hey, maybe these are people, and it's kind of like what Jerry honed in on. It's like, hey, you can't be you can't be the asset manager, the person trying to find those deals and have those broker connections, the capital raiser, the property manager. You can't be all, especially like you find that out just on a 16 unit. It's like two of us running that was a real challenge. So what we ended up doing was putting together a team of people that really is a core six of us now that started a company, and that's how we our two assets in Jacksonville are part of this core company now, that are really focused on and staying in our lane to do it. So I mean, I tend to bounce around a little. I could help out with the capital raising and kind of do all my networking stuff. I do the once a month meetups in the Jersey area. Jerry kind of helps me out and shows up to them. But we have a great asset manager, great underwriting team. People looking for have someone like our one guy Scotty, who could find, has great network to find for brokers. So it's been a real good. It's been really great in 23. Like I said, it's only been two properties that we found, but they're great. It's 224 units, and going into 24, I had a call today with one of the partners saying, hey, you know what? It's now time to try to branch out. A couple months ago, I kind of got help with my own social media, and have someone actually running my social media. And I chose LinkedIn as the preferred platform, and I kind of do a copy and paste over on Facebook. But yeah, I found this guy who's great. He targets the only multifamily stuff. So I kind of started with just posts. Now I'm going to try to amp it up a little, try to get on some podcasts, stuff like this. Try to maybe hone in on some of the stuff when I was on panels for the masterminds. And once I get on that, then I'm going to start posting that content and hopefully start building that network. I've built up the network to now close to 2,000 followers on LinkedIn. And as that expands, hopefully it'll help with the capital raise, help with the meetups, and help to build that network. And that's the goal for 2024 as we continue to look for more properties and try to build that asset base. And hopefully, they keep saying either 3 to 6 times next year. Hopefully they're going to be lowering rates, so that'll kind of help out with all the assets out there and help us build our network a little, and build our base and build more assets under our belt. So it's kind of where I'm heading.
That's a good year. And you now are also, you're doing full time, right? I know you were back in,
yeah,
real estate full time, right?
Yeah, so this is So I'm out of the W-2 since September. This is my my full time thing. So yeah, I'm also trying to figure out what's so I have all the stuff in the syndication stuff is obviously a long term play. So like what Jerry's saying, it's also nice to trying to take a look at some of the smaller things, like the 16 unit is great because that is produce cash flow a little bit quicker. So when you see things like that, probably under 40 units, I don't know, I'm arbitrary number, but something can produce cash flow a little bit quicker, and sometimes in a JV or something, maybe that's what somebody's looking for. So I'm always up for trying to find a deal, or if someone brings me deals, I'm like, yeah, just give me a call. I'll take a look at it if it makes sense. Some of the partners are willing to take a look at that, or myself or whatever. So yeah, but this is my full time thing, and that's what that's what my LinkedIn shows, and then there's no other distractions out there except for golf, of course. So so just try to keep the network going. But that's what I try to do: try to build out the brand and trying to make it just try to keep it flowing and going.
Yeah, that's great.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Oh,
And
thank
what
you.
I would say is people always talk about big is better. I'm not sure I believe that. And I think your point is spot on. You buy a 20, 30 unit building, you can turn that puppy around a heck of a lot quicker than you can a 250 unit deal, right? And
Sure.
you can just get in, concentrated action, and really make a difference in 6 to 9 months. Hard to do that on 250 units. It's just
Oh yeah.
it's a huge boat you got to turn around, and it's hard to get higher quality tenants in a building that's full of lower quality tenants. And I think in a
Absolutely.
littler building, you can do it more quickly. So, and I think there are people who are starting to come to that perspective where when things were booming, it was don't waste any time under 100 doors. It's a waste of time. So anyway, interesting. You've had some success on some smaller deals too. So I
Well,
like
Orange,
that.
to your point, the deal that I'm actually working on right now is a 20 unit. It's it's a good cash flowing deal, and I'm trying to put it together as a JV. And it's for that very reason. It's going to cash flow out of the gate, and it's going to grow, and it's going to be a small, closely held group.
And if there's problems, they're of the order of magnitude that you personally can deal with it financially, if that makes sense to you, right? If
Correct.
if you got to come up with 20,000 to carry the property 6 more months, whatever, that's a heck of a lot easier than having to come up with $250,000 unexpectedly to carry it 6 months, and so there's just kind of less exposure there. It's something you can absorb the body blows a little bit more. So to me, it actually feels a little bit safer.
I concur.
Yeah.
Good point.
Thanks again, John.
Yeah.
Anthony, how about you? I know also talk a little bit about real estate, and also you have other business ventures going on as well.
Yeah, so I actually I had a slow real estate year, but everything else was pretty was a lot going on. I hope to change that a little bit next year. But yeah, so the biggest thing this year was birth of my son, so that was definitely a big change. 2 kids is not twice as hard as one kid. It is exponentially harder. So found that out. But no, that was great. And then yeah, like Jerry alluded to, we started a mental health clinic in Cranford, New Jersey. So I had the bright idea to start that back in March. And now we currently have 5 therapists, and patients are coming in every day. We have to get a lot more to really get to where we want to be, but I see it working, so that's really great. And then that kind of rolls into my goals for next year. We're currently leasing the office space right now for the clinic. We're looking to open up 2 more next year, 2 more locations, and I would really like to buy the buildings for those locations. So I've been working with a few brokers. We're looking at smaller 10,000 to 30,000 square foot office buildings. Ideally, there would be a mix of medical tenants currently. But if not, the clinic that we're opening is going to take up about 4,000 square feet. So, vacancy is not a bad thing in what we're looking for. So that gives us a little bit of negotiating power because, as everybody knows, commercial is having some difficulties. But actually, commercial of this size is not nearly as dire as the bigger buildings, which I'm finding out. The owners aren't nearly as willing to negotiate as I thought they were. But when somebody has a building that's a quarter vacant, and I'm okay with that since I'd be occupying it, you can work out a deal a little easier. So So actively looking, haven't found anything yet. Checking out a property in West Orange on Thursday. So hopefully that goes well. And then, I still residential real estate's really my love. So I am looking to pick up a few smaller multifamilies in the 4 to 10 unit range in New Jersey. Well, I guess I should backtrack. So I currently own 10 units in New Jersey. So definitely want to keep expanding that. And then yeah, so that's so 2024 is going to be focused on real estate but also with the mental health clinic occupying the space.
Awesome. So
Great.
with the mental health, are you, because I know you have franchise areas, right?
Yeah.
So is it, you said West Orange,
Yeah.
what's your area?
Yeah, so I have the rights to most of Union and Middlesex counties. But I've been in discussions about the West Orange area. It's currently nobody has purchased those rights. So
It's a good spot. It's a good spot.
yeah, I like it. So either I could like shift my territory or buy an additional territory. We'll see how it works out. With basically wherever I find a building is where I'm gonna go. So I really like the Metuchen area, Edison, and then Maplewood, West Orange. I also like as well. So we'll see. Whichever building comes first, that's where we're going.
Great. Good luck. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Very diverse year for sure.
Yeah.
Busy.
If I was here in 22 telling you what I was going to do in 23, I wouldn't have said either of those things.
That's awesome. All right, Arn, your turn.
Yeah. So, tale of 2 years. In 2022, I did 3 deals, probably 500 units total. And in 2023, I did 2 deals, 27 units in total. So look every day, but been frustrated, can't find anything. And when you think about it, if you're talking to an existing owner, they have better debt than you can get today. So the building is worth more to them than it is to you, if that makes sense, right? It's the same NOI, and they may have 4% debt on it, and then we got to pay 6. Well, it's worth more to that guy than it is to me. So we've kind of started going after small builders of small multifamily duplexes, things like that. Closed 1 deal, 10 duplexes. We like the new construction. We're getting them at about 150 a square foot, which we think is pretty good. Working on another one that we hope to have resolved pretty quick. In terms of my team, my primary partner is a guy named Brian Walsh who lives in Greenville. He's a property manager, a plumber by trade, runs his own renovation crews, and we're both kind of real estate guys. So this year we brought in another partner, a guy named Dan Raleigh, who's also a California expat, lives in Cary, North Carolina. He's a CFO type, very mental, spreadsheets, tracking financial. And so he kind of fills in a weakness that Brian and I had. We're real estate guys. We're not financial spreadsheet guys. And then for 2024, going to continue to hunt deals. I think I'm going to start a weekly LinkedIn live show, kind of similar to what Tim and Tim do. So I'm sure you guys know Tim Vest and Tim Vitale, who do a LinkedIn live Tuesday at 10. So I'm going to try to model that. And I am also considering perhaps starting a coaching business, not quite sure yet. Coaching business would be one, obviously the income from coaching, but also I think it would help build kind of a close network, an ecosystem of people who are interested in multifamily and perhaps would want to partner in my deals. We pretty much got the operational side handled. And so what's really holding us back, other than finding deals that make sense, which of course is a problem we all have, is on the capital side. So I'm kind of toying with that idea. Not quite sure if I'm going to do it, but that's something that I'm going to consider implementing for 2024.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Art, are you still also focused? And you mentioned earlier Cornelius, but are you still? I know, particularly with your partner, with Brian being Greenville, are you still looking outside of the Greenville area as it comes?
Well, that's a good question. And William said something about getting real and kind of getting focused on what he actually wants to buy and the type deals that he wants to buy. And recently I pulled back from looking out of area, because just as John mentioned, when you go to different areas, you got to find a new team. And when we were looking up that stuff in Greensboro and we had those couple property managers, honestly, I was not impressed with any of them. I wasn't sure any of them could do the job. And so I'm hesitant to go to a new market. On the other hand, Greenville's a relatively small market. So if I do want to do more deals, maybe I got to expand the market. And so hearing that, say, William is in Charlotte, that kind of piques my interest, because then maybe there'd be a partner, or maybe somebody like Ted who could kind of keep a better eye on it. I'd still say there's a little hesitancy not knowing who the team is. But if it was an attractive enough deal, an attractive enough property, I might take the plunge. And of course, the dilemma I always have going to a new market is, okay, you don't want to go all in a new market. So I'm not buying a $15 million deal for 100 units in a new market. I'm just not going to do that, because I don't have the team in place. And if things go sideways, I got a mess on my hands. So you say, okay, well, let me go small and dip my toe in. But then, of course, the problem is it worth your time? Right? You buy 16 units and it's 3 hours away and you got to deal with it. So I'm still kind of wrestling with that. This one on Cornelius just popped my desk. It's a newer build, so that intrigues me. I think most of the deals that are in trouble are kind of value add, and I think there's some issues with them, and you really got to have a crack team to kind of pull it off. And again, I'm older, I'm 69, so I'm kind of more a core investor. Just give me a decent return. I don't need to hit a home run. So the newer kind of appeals to me a little bit.
Well, one thing it could tie in too, if you do the educational program, it'll expose you potentially to other investors in other areas that could become boots on the ground if you do go outside.
Yes, and or raise capital for my deals, because there's an element of trust and getting to know each other. So I'm intrigued about it. Well, for me, I just got to decide, am I willing to commit the time to do it? Because there will be a monetary investment and a time investment, and I just got to kind of decide, is that really what I want to do? So I got to kind of work that out internally.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to everybody for going through the recap of the year and what we're looking for. I'm going to sign off on the recording right now.